venir, vivir, reach.
Okay, cut. Now, what did you notice about these three phrases? That's right. These are all in past tense. Or at least, they were. What if we wanted to experience Caesar's victory right alongside him? He comes, he sees, he conquers. Now we're talking in present tense.
Part 1. Verb endings. Here are some verbs in Spanish. Take a look at their endings. Did you notice they all end in AR? What about these? These all end in ER. And finally, yep, they all end in IR.
These are the three verb endings in Spanish: AR, ER, and IR. They help us determine how each verb is conjugated. Like English, verbs in Spanish get conjugated. The verb ending changes depending on who is doing the action.
For example, take the verb dance. When talking about yourself, you and someone else, or a group of other people, the verb stays the same. But when talking about another person, such as he or she, dance gets an S added to the end. He, she dances. Part 2. AR verbs.
It's a similar concept in Spanish, only now, every subject gets its own ending. Let's start with AR verbs. For AR verbs, we have o, as, a, amos, ais, and an. Take the verb bailar, to dance. Bailar is an AR verb, so it will use the endings we just listed. For the yo form, it would become bailo. Yo bailo, I dance.
Part 3. ER verbs. The ER endings are o, es, e, hemos, eis, and en. Let's use the verb comer, to eat, as an example. When conjugated, comer becomes como, comes, come, comemos, coméis, and comen.
Part 4. IR verbs. The IR endings are o, es, e, imos, is, and en. Let's look at the verb escribir, to write. Conjugated, escribir becomes escribo, escribes, escribe, escribimos, escribís, and escriben.
Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. So if I was gonna say I have a dog, I would say yo tengo un perro.
No, Rebecca! It's important to keep in mind that not all verbs follow the same rules. We call these irregulars.
Let's go back to the examples from earlier. See how when we were conjugating bailar, we kicked off the AR ending and we were left with BAIL? That's called the root. It's what we add the pronoun endings to. For example, we dance would be nosotros bailamos. See how we kept the stem and just added on the ending? Now, forget all of that, mix it up a bit, and you have the irregulars.
Let's look at an example. A very common irregular verb is tener, to have. First, take off the ER ending so that you have the stem ten. But now this is where things get weird. Imagine a boot. This boot includes the yo, tú, él, ella, usted, and ellas, ellos, ustedes forms. See? It looks like a boot. This indicates which forms you need to do stem changes for. Vosotros and nosotros? They just use the original stem ten. So their conjugations would be tenemos and tenéis. The other forms turn into... Wait, what do you mean there's more?
That's right. Remember the boot that we were talking about? Each one in there has a stem change. But don't worry, there's only two variations. For yo, just add go to the end, for tengo. And the tú, el, ella, usted, and ustedes forms just become tien, plus their normal endings. So you get tienes, tiene, and tienen.
There are different types of stem changes too. Tener was E to IE. Another type is E to I, which we see in repetir. There's also O to UE, which we see in almorzar, and U to UE, which we see in jugar.
Here is a list of some of the most common irregular verbs. but there's definitely a lot more out there. Make sure to research some more on your own before tienes your next exam.